Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast. Dave Pele, Josh Pele, Mario Heron, talking Charger football and what's going on with the NFL, of course, with you. And again, appreciate everybody that's leaving comments on the YouTube page. It's always fun for us just to kind of a scale of what we said, if it's crazy or not, but we do appreciate the comments. Guys, big news in the NFL today. I mean, it's amazing how this sport works, where here we are in June and training camp's going to get started in about 6 weeks, and then a major star in the NFL now will be looking for another new team. We talked about it with DeAndre Hopkins a little bit just a couple weeks ago, and another big name. Josh, we'll start with you. Say who the name is, what team, what position. I think is the most important part.
It's Dalvin Cook of the Minnesota Vikings, 27-year-old running back. And the reason we bring it up first is because the Denver Broncos are rumored as a favorite to land him. So as a Charger fan, you got to wonder if that's going to happen.
It's worrisome. Cook's a beast. We obviously don't want him to go to Denver because that would suck for Bolt City and all the Bolt City fans because, as you said, Denver sucks. Denver's one of our more hated teams. And it'd be a tough one. Cook's like in his prime, 27 years old, 4 straight 1,000-yard season, 52 career touchdowns. And once again, we're seeing that running back position just dwindle. Like that stock's going down, baby. It's going down fast. Short it.
Yeah, it's funny. We just discussed this a little bit ago. I believe if it wasn't the last show, it was one of the few shows recently that we did about the running back position and saying, stability in the NFL and saying, even when you're a young kid, you see all the moms that say, man, my kid's the running back and youth football scoring all the touchdowns. But that really isn't the future position you want to play if you want to play for a long time as a professional. And the running back position, usually those guys don't make it through their first contract. Now Cook's a tremendous player, and he's not a person that wouldn't say, otherwise. When he's healthy, he's one of the best running backs in the league. Yet at 27, he's now considered past his prime and old, which is, let's say in Major League Baseball, ages 28 to 32, that's your prime age. In the NFL at 27, they're saying, hey, there's somebody better than you and someone else that's worth paying. So I think he has something left in the tank. Listen, Josh, the way you just described it makes me believe you think there's something left in the tank. Mario, you said, we hate the Broncos. We don't want to see him get him. Yeah. And he does have talent. He is one of the better players in the NFL when he's healthy. And I always base these things off of fantasy football because we all play. Most of the listeners play as well. And you go, where would you draft this guy? Dalvin Cook's a guy that you would draft in the first 2 rounds. Am I wrong? I mean, he's a tremendous talent in this league, and the last thing you want him to do is go into a team that the Chargers would have to face 2 times.
Yeah, so the Broncos right now have Javonte Williams, who has not been able to stay healthy. If they got Dalvin Cook, you'd be scared. Even though Russell Wilson's been terrible, you have to think in the back of your head, he's still Russell Wilson. Something could happen where he turns the switch on and he's good all of a sudden. Then if you add Dalvin Cook to the mix with the wide receivers they have, all of a sudden the Broncos are a threat. And I think the Broncos are actually the favorite to land Dalvin Cook. I don't see the Bills doing it. They just got Damian Harris. And I think the Bears are the other team they're rumoring. Maybe he does go to the Bears. If he stays within the division, that'd be wild. The fact that the Vikings are willing to let him and Danielle Hunter go, it's pretty surprising right before the season starts. Arguably, top 2 defensive player on your team. And then Dalvin Cook's the second best offensive player behind Justin Jefferson. So the Vikings, to me, are kind of surprising, but they're so good compared to the rest of the teams in that division. Maybe it isn't that surprising overall.
I have a theory about what the Vikings are doing right now. I think they're trying to get younger and stay competitive at the same time, right? Like they let Eric Kendrick walks and he goes and now he's a Los Angeles Charger now. We're excited about him. It's a veteran player, but they let him walk. Then they're letting Dalvin Cook walk and then maybe they trade Hunter. And it's like, what are the Vikings doing? I think they're looking around their division going, look, the Packers are young and not very good. The Bears are young and not very good. The Lions are young, good, but let's remember that they're still the Detroit Lions. Oh, and arguably their best receiver, second best receiver, is going to be out for 6 games because he likes to throw some parlays. So you have all that, and you go, we have arguably the best offensive player in the league in Justin Jefferson. We have an okay quarterback. We can survive in this division and stay young and be okay. Not to mention we have a young coach that we have faith in. So why don't we get younger talent that let them grow with our head coach and get better? So I feel like that's the direction they're kind of going right now. And it's an interesting one because they're doing it and staying competitive. They're doing it and staying good. And it's an interesting look. I'm interested to see what happens. They're obviously got Cousins on a fat deal that, boy, does he not deserve. I mean, it's like him and Harrison Barnes, baby. They reeled in that money and they do not deserve it. So it's something that's very, very interesting that I think the Vikings are doing right now. I think they're trying to play long game. And look, Dalvin Cook is a hell of a running back. He's what, top 8, top 6, 7, maybe 5, like best running back in the league. And I hope he doesn't go to the Broncos. I hope he doesn't go to the Dolphins because that's tough week 1. Now, if he wants to go to my Chicago Bears, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a conversation, baby. Let's get sexy. Like, I like a little bit of that. Go to the
Now,
club.
do you if you were him, okay, let's throw this out there. You're him, and you have to make a choice. Bears, Broncos, where would you go? I mean, of course, you're in your head, you're like, oh, man, I'm going to show the Vikings. I'm going to go to a team inside the division and stick it to them. But let's be honest. What team has a better chance of making the postseason in the next 2 years? Is it the Broncos or is it the Chicago Bears?
Go. I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
Okay, hear me out, though. It's Bears because of schedule. Look who you have to play. Broncos, you got Herbert. You got Mahomes twice. Yeah, like, that's a hard AFC. That's hard, man. You got Allen. You got a lot of teams that you got to play. That's hard. Chicago, what, where you got Jordan Love? Yes, please. I'll take the check as well. Jared Goff. All right. Like, sure, Dan Campbell's not that great of a coach. That OC's gone in a year.
Detroit wasn't bad last year. Detroit wasn't bad.
What?
Come on, Detroit is on the move up. Don't we agree that Detroit's a team that's getting better?
Yeah, they're getting better, but like in the NFC, still compared to the AFC, like I think I'd rather take my chances going to the NFC, going, let's just roll the dice, baby. We can roll the dice. NFC can take you far. 500, maybe like of just above, could take you maybe pretty far in the playoff, in the AFC, in the NFC. I'm sorry, in the AFC, that's getting you nowhere. Might get you a draft pick, but in the NFC, like that could take you far.
Do you want to shake hands twice a year at the end of a game with your old Vikings teammates, knowing they just kicked your ass?
You probably kick their ass at that guy at quarterback. Well, I'll laugh in their face. Have you seen him against Chicago? He pisses down his leg.
I think the fact that the Bears have the worst offensive line in the NFL is a factor as well. Would you want to run the ball for the Bears? They can't block for anything. What did that make a difference to you, Mario? Get your head knocked off.
Bears traditionally are pretty good on the run game, surprisingly enough. I mean, let's look at the facts, gentlemen. David Montgomery, gone, Lions, but like Herbert stepped up good. Before him, Jordan Howard, who broke Walter Payton record. Before him, Matt Forte. Before him, Cedric Benson. Then before him, Thomas Jones. It's a good line of running backs right there. That even though maybe the QB was eating his sack the whole time, like the running back still was able to get some yards.
What are you gonna say, Josh? You gonna say something?
I don't know, man. The Bears have never been appealing to me just because their offense has always been like the San Antonio Spurs, but not good, right? They're just so boring. Nothing about the Bears has ever been interesting on the offensive side of the ball. Fair. Matt Forte and Thomas Jones are good running backs, but nobody's tuning in to watch the Bears run the ball. There's just nothing exciting about that. He was on the Vikings last year, and the Vikings, you could argue, were the most fun team to watch when they had the ball. Something was going to happen. The Bears are complete opposite. I know you want to shove it up the Vikings' ass. Well, good luck, dude. The Vikings are so much better than the Bears right now. You're going to embarrass yourself. If I was him, I would go to the Broncos. Javonte Williams is probably not going to last the whole season. It's going to be your backfield. You don't want to go to Buffalo. You're going to take your younger brother's reps. You want to keep it in the family? Dude, good luck at Thanksgiving looking at James and saying, sorry, buddy, I ruined your entire career. You wouldn't want to go take it from your brother. So if I'm him, I would definitely want to go to Denver.
I don't know. Denver to me seems more appealing. I don't know why. I think Denver seems a little more appealing if I was him. But again, you don't know. I mean, how important is winning and how important is money? I don't know what he's looking for. And so, Miami comes up in the conversation as well. We didn't touch on the Dolphins. Dolphins are loaded talent-wise on their roster. I mean, to me, the most talented roster in the NFL. The Dolphins are impressive. What is Jacksonville's situation? And I always think, okay, the team's in Florida, right? I mean, the guy's a Florida State guy. You go, okay, does he want to go back towards where he even played college ball? I don't know what goes through his head. I don't know anything about Dalvin Cook as a person. I just know as an athlete, he's a tremendous running back, always has been. And he has a chip on his shoulder, right? Nobody wants to be told you aren't good enough. Or, hey, this is a playoff team, a team that's supposed to win the division, but we think we can win it without you. That's how little we think of you. And if you're Dalvin Cook today, you're irritated. You're embarrassed and you're irritated that somebody turned their back on you.
So I actually like that call right there with the Jaguars. Obviously, they have Travis Etienne, but every team in the NFL needs 2 running backs.
Exactly.
The backup running back for the Jaguars is Tank Bigsby. He's a rookie from Auburn. Good player, but as I mentioned, he's a rookie. You can't really depend on a rookie. You don't know what you're going to get. If I'm the Jaguars, I'm going to go hard for Dalvin Cook. I think that'd be an awesome move for the Jaguars. I think he'd be good for the locker room. He seems like a good guy. The Florida State connection, people have been mentioning Jalen Ramsey because he's on the Dolphins now. That'd be crazy if he went to the Dolphins, because I thought the Dolphins were very similar to the Vikings just in the AFC. Very exciting. You know, when the Dolphins are on TV, you're probably going to watch it. Derwin James, Florida State guy, obviously on the Chargers. There's no way that Dalvin Cook ends up on the Chargers. You see that on Twitter all day. What are the Chargers going to do? What are the Chargers going to do? There's no shot that he ends up being a Charger. It's fun to play around with it, but I really like the Jaguars and the Dolphins. I think that makes a lot more sense.
The Chargers getting Dalvin Cook, it's like, let's turn off Madden. You know, this isn't Madden, right? You know, you can get him in Madden and it's all fun and games. You win Super Bowl there, but hey, welcome to real life. That's why Kevin Durant didn't win anything with the Suns. So, and this is what he said, by the way, last year when the Vikings got to play in Miami last year. This is what I dreamed about. This is a kid's dream, just living in it, trying to take advantage of the moment. If you know me, I just like to have fun. So I try to enjoy the moment, man, because you don't get these back. We only play Miami every so many years, so got to take advantage of these type of games. That's a quote from CBSSports.com. They're friends with us. So huge thing. Like, I think he's a Dolphin. I think that makes sense for the Dolphins too. Like, Tua, you know, we'll get more into the QBs and everything like that. But like, let's say Tua is not healthy. Let's say you got to run the ball a little bit because he's a little bit banged up. Like, that's a good guy to get on the ground and get it going. And that was a huge flaw in their kind of offense last year, was the run game never really kind of stepped up, never got going. So Dolphins is fine. That's a tough week 1 matchup for us. Oh my God, guys. Could you imagine if, let's just say, because history tells us that Staley doesn't really figure out stopping the run game. Shocker. Could you imagine what Dalvin Cook could possibly do to us, though, in week 1?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to see him go to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't want to see him go to the Dolphins, not just for week 1, but also playoffs. The Dolphins have so many weapons every direction. Their defense got stronger. The Dolphins are one of those teams I don't want to see in the postseason. And if they're able to figure it out, they make it to the postseason. And again, you added more weapons throughout the roster. The roster is crazy. I mean, the Dolphins are one of those teams where, you see, you look for entertainment, what games are on, and going, okay, the Chargers aren't playing until the afternoon game. If the Dolphins are on in the early game, I'm clicking over the Dolphins game because they are fun to watch. Offensively and now defensively, they're an exciting team to watch. And here, I'm gonna take a shot at your Bears right now, Mario. Right here, Mario is the Charger fan. For people listening who say Mario gets a little hot when it comes to the Bears. Okay, Bears, we'll say, is your second team, correct? You have 2 teams. You're close to Chicago, second team. So, but again, Mario is a Charger fan doing a Charger podcast. The Bears, as a close friend of mine always says, he goes, in sports, the 2 things you can't be. You can't be bad and you can't be boring. And that's Chicago Bears football. Chicago Bears have always been boring. I agree with Josh when he said it. He's right. I mean, the goddamn franchise has never had a quarterback. You've never had a star wide receiver. How's this happen? The Bears, when I look at the Bears, and it's funny when you're naming running backs, I'm thinking Neil Anderson. I'm thinking Walter Payton. I'm thinking Gale Sayers. Gale Sayers is before my time. I'm not that old. But
how old are you? God,
not that old. Not that old. But I did see
you
Walter
get the casket
Payton
already.
I did see it. Got one right here. It's filled with beer until I die. Then we'll take it out and I'll drop in it. Calm down. All right. So here you go. So you look at the Bears again. They're known for running backs. They're known for linebackers, right? But how does an organization that's been around as long as any organization not able to find a franchise quarterback, a Hall of Fame quarterback? It's bizarre. It doesn't make any sense. A wide receiver, even a stud wide receiver, you go, man, remember when they used to have so-and-so? They don't even have that guy. What, Willie Galt, Dennis McKinnon, Alshon Jeffrey?
Marshall.
I mean, come on. Yeah, but they've always had linebackers. Always. It's weird.
We got guys. Yeah.
You got guys. I'll point this out about Dalvin Cook also. This is where the NFL is genius, and this is where it's the ultimate business. The NFL has that rule that you can't take your helmet off on the field. You know what I mean? It's a huge penalty. You take your helmet off. The NFL has made it very easy for you as a fan. You only root for the team. You don't root for individual players, meaning It's the logos. It's the Chicago C and their uniforms. It's the Green Bay Packers G. It's the lightning bolt on the Chargers helmet. That's what you think of when you think of those teams. Yeah, everybody can name everyone's quarterback, but it is always about the franchise. It's never about the individual player. For the Vikings to pull this move and get rid of a stud player, like if you went to a Viking game last year, you would see a bunch of Dalvin Cook jerseys at Minnesota Viking home games. They're sold. Guess what? They're going to be new jerseys that are going to be sold. Those uniforms are going to disappear. They're going to be gone. That this Junior Seau 55 jersey behind my head. You go to a Charger game now, nobody wears a 55 jersey anymore. It rotates out. Your face is not an important part of the league. Whereas if this was the NBA and guys are gone, like a big time guy is gone off a team like this, it's a big damn deal. And guess what? There's going to be another story in the NFL 3 days from right now, and you aren't going to think about it. It's always about the franchise. It's never about the individual player. Genius. For the owners, it's genius.
Okay, well, you talk about the NFL having a good look. Do you think it's a bad look for the NFL when all these guys get caught up with gambling? Do you think the NFL has a gambling problem?
Yeah, the NFL created this problem, right? I mean, so here's the deal: is Mario is the resident gambler for the show because he can gamble where he's at. We can't gamble in California. Okay, you can gamble, Mario, where you're at, and most people can gamble across the country. In California, it didn't pass. You can't gamble here. The NFL used to deny gambling ever took place. Let's be honest here. There's a reason why there's Sunday Night Football. It's for people to chase their money after they had a bad day, right? Right? Think about it. The last game's a chasing game is what it's for. It's all the people who had bad days, or even the people that say, man, I am red hot today. You're damn right I'm going to jump on this Sunday night game. Monday Night Football, same thing. Let's be honest on fantasy football, okay? There's a reason why that injury report that comes out on Thursdays has to be accurate. And if it's not accurate, teams get fined out of their mind because they know people are placing money on these games. And gambling has always been part of the league. The league just acts like we don't know what's going on, but they know what's going on. All right. 3 things keep you involved in the NFL as a fan. All right. Your love for your team, your fantasy football team, and gambling. And fantasy football is gambling.
Ooh, I like those 3 right there. Mario, rank your 3. Your team, your fantasy football team, and gambling, 1 through 3.
Oh, that's a good one. Team, gambling, fantasy football. Easily.
BS.
Okay, that's kind of what I expected.
I'm calling liar.
What do you mean liar?
You think gambling number 1?
Gambling's number 1 for Mario, without a doubt.
No, I'm still an old fashioned. Let's get after it, like heart on the line before gambling.
Bears favored by 31 against the Packers. Who you taking?
I don't bet on favorite teams. Don't bet on favorite teams.
Why? You're watching the game anyway.
But you already got enough blood in it. Already got enough blood.
Do you ever place a wager, Mario, where you go, I win either way? I pick the Bears, but if the Packers win, I win there too.
I hate people like that.
You ever do that?
No, I never do that because I'm not a scumbag piece of trash.
Yeah, I agree with Mario.
Wisconsin.
Dude, if you bet against your team so it's a win-win, lose-lose, you're an idiot, and I hate you.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this, I hate you.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
You're talking directly to them.
You're a loser.
Dude, you're such an idiot if you do that. I'm gonna win and I'm gonna lose no matter what. Why? Why would you do that?
So you can sleep at night?
No. Yeah, you can gamble in Tennessee where I'm from. It's just I don't do it because I know once I start, I'm not gonna stop. I'm like Charles Barkley. Once I get a little taste of it, I can't stop. I don't know, man. Talking about a gambling problem, I think it depends on the individual. I don't think the NFL actually has a gambling problem. I would go as far as saying that a guy should be able to gamble if it's not his team. Who cares? Like it's not his team, and he's just like everybody else. He doesn't know what's going to happen.
What about inside information? I mean, players know everybody on other teams. You go to college with a guy, let's say at Alabama, and there's an Alabama player on the Colts. And you go, hey, he's told me Carson Wentz's shoulder's bad, whatever the case is.
Why can't he do that already? He can tell his buddy to place a bet for him because he knows that information.
So, these guys get caught. So here's the deal.
They're idiots. Yeah, they're Alabama guys. And they're idiots. Well, I don't know what they're doing. How stupid can you be?
About 20 years ago, the public relations guy with the Chicago Bears got caught up in gambling before it was legal. But as a PR guy, injuries. And so it's funny. I'm like Josh. Look, I don't have any crazy vices. I'm not drinking a ton or things that hurt me. But
you don't.
Really?
Okay, I
What's
dip
in your
tobacco
lip?
like crazy. No, I'm clean. I'm clean. So look, here's the deal. All right, I do. I like to dip. So here's the thing though. When I used to cover the Chargers, I was there every day. Guys would come on the show. I was in the locker room every day. I knew guys who were hurt, but if I knew they were going to play, I'm like, man, that's a pretty good chance right there. I want to bet against that guy. That's what happened with the Bears PR guy. He knew there was an advantage there. So for me though, I still wouldn't place bets. I was not because it was immoral. I just wasn't sure. The NFL, these 3.5-point spreads that Vegas always seems to know exactly where the spread is. I'm too afraid to place a bet on an NFL game. It just never seems to work out for a guy that watches so much and talks to so many guys. It never works out. And then I go, I'll never place a bet at the track. I can't even talk to the horses, you know, and the players. So when you say, back to Josh's initial question, is there a gambling problem? The NFL has to love it. Not the fact that players are involved, but they love the fact that when you're gambling, you're watching. That's all that matters. Yeah. Are you watching? Which means they can charge more for advertisers for these games when they show the numbers. Look how many people are watching. Whether you're a football fan or not, your TV is turned on to, Chargers playing the Dolphins first game because you have money on it.
Here's the thing I'll say. Like, the NFL made a decision and whatever, I think it was like 2019, when they decided that gambling was going to be legal. This was going to happen. Like, this was just going to come. Like, this is, this was going to happen. It was inevitable. It was going to be a thing. You're going to have to crack down on it. Look, we're still pretty young in this era. I don't think it's a problem. I think it was just going to happen. And here we are. How do you deal with it? You come down harsh, you come down hard, and you make sure that example set, that standard is set, that this doesn't happen, that this can't happen again, that if you're in the NFL, you cannot place any wager on an NFL sport. Like, this was going to happen. Like you said, Dave, there's so much money in it that it's never going to stop. There's so much money that's placed every single Sunday. There's so much money that's placed on an NBA Finals game every single night, on a Stanley Cup Finals, on the March Madness. Are you kidding? I sit there and I just stay on my phone the whole time. I'm on a great sponsor, BetMGM. I'm a freaking murderer's row on there of just placing bets. Like, it's going to happen. It's going to be a thing. You got to control it. You got to monitor it, which they are. Obviously, they've already caught what we're close to, like 9 or 10 guys that have been caught gambling. It was going to happen. It makes money for the NFL. It brings money to the sport. It lets them do better things, greater things within the sport. Come down to harsh, set the example, move on from it. I don't think they should be allowed to gamble on at least NFL. If you want to gamble on NBA, sure, go ahead. All those lines a little bit blurry. Maybe you want to go play in a card game in Vegas. I'm fine with that. Go play with Roy Williams. He loves gambling. Like, that's fine to me. But when it comes to the NFL, there's too much knowledge there, too much inside knowledge, too much in the locker room where you kind of run into the Chicago. What was it? What was the Chicago? I think, was it Black Sox? Was it Black Sox? 8 men out where they
scandal.
Yeah, you don't want anything like that ever again, obviously. Like, that can't happen, but it's here, it's gonna stay here, it's not going away, it's only gonna get bigger. Only new apps are gonna come, only new ways to bet are gonna come, more money is gonna be brought in. Monitor it, set the example, move on from it. There's no NFL gambling problem. It's a tiny incident. It's happening in every sport. There's NBA refs that were gambling. Baseball's had it bad. NFL, congratulations. Here's your pie. Eat it, take it, move on. There's been evidence throughout time of fighters throwing fights. Like, this is it. As long as there's been sports gambling. And guess what? You sports gamble to test your knowledge of sports, baby. That's my saying. Copyright that.
The thing that I agree with you, Mario. You probably should not bet if you're an NFL player. It's just would create a huge mess. The thing that does bother me the most about the NFL is the way they treat gambling compared to, let's say, physical abuse, right?
Yeah.
You've seen guys abuse women, get half a season. And then you see the Deshaun Watson situation. You got 10 or 11 games. And then Calvin Ridley gets a full season for placing a bet. I understand it was the Atlanta Falcons he bet with, but really that's where we're going to draw the line, where this is where it's too much, but yet you have players in your league that are, beating people up and they get half of a year or 4 games, 5 games. I just think that's a bad look more than anything.
The NFL's looking at it as how many people do you affect by your crime. You know what I mean? When you're a player and you're gambling on games, you're affecting thousands of people. When you're beating up one person, that's how I guess they're looking at it. I mean, that's the reason why Tyreek Hill's my least favorite player in the NFL. You look at Tyreek Hill's situation, you go, why is this guy even in the league? This is bad for the league. Then the NFL is not the only league, by the way, that has to deal with this, as Mario just said. I mean, it used to be taboo to even think that you were going to put a professional team in Las Vegas. Well, the Raiders are there now. Well, it took 2 years before the Henry Ruggs situation just happened to happen in Las Vegas. It didn't have anything to do with gambling. It just happened to be a party city, and man, it was terrible. And then you look at the Oakland A's, who are now going to become a major league team in Las Vegas. You look at the Golden Knights, a major franchise in Las Vegas. It's everyone's running to Vegas all of a sudden. I mean, the draft, Las Vegas, everything's Vegas. Super Bowl going to be Las Vegas. It's just one of those where we're just going to be all in on it. And if you want to blame it on just one city, that's fine. The NFL's issue, though, let's go back to the story and why we brought this topic up. What's going on with the Colts? And so all of a sudden, this becomes a giant story that there's a player in the Colts that's involved in gambling. And that's, obviously right in your backyard, Mario. Josh and I text immediately, do you know which player it is? And then when stories start coming out, people start going through game film on, hey, do you think he threw it right here? Did he throw the game on this play? Do you throw the game on this play? And, it's not a matter of being a fan on the Colts, but let's say I did gamble on that game. I'm super irritated that I lost money because of this guy. This guy affected me. And whether it affected me on one game or a parlay or whatever else. And then you start wondering, well, that's just one guy we know of. What if there's one guy or two guys on every team that are doing that?
When are we going to find out who the person is?
We know it. It's Isaiah Rodgers.
It's a fact. It's Isaiah Rodgers.
Yeah, he apologized and everything.
Oh, great. I'm glad you're sorry.
Yeah.
What's the punishment?
Good for him. I don't think that's been released yet, but it's officially Isaiah Rodgers right now. His bets were here's a freaking Josh, we were texting about this. You're paid like very handsomely to play in the NFL. What the hell does a $25 freaking bet do to you? Like, what is, dude, if you're going to, you shouldn't bet, but if you're going to bet and you have that much money, dude, pound to the wall. Put your nuts on the line. Like, what is this with the freaking $50 bets, dude? Like, if you're going to put the nuts out, put the nuts out. Like, that's not even worth the risk. Like, what a truly dumb idiot. Dumb, stupid idiot. Like, crazy to me. Dumb idiot, dude. If that was me, if I'm putting a lot more online than that, I'm putting like 100 freaking K. Like, and I'm spreading it around.
I'm with Mario. Mario, I agree with you. It better be enough money to basically lock you up for 4 years. You better profit enough to go, this is what would be 4 years salary.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, why would you gamble your career on it? That's what you're doing.
Shout out to Zion Williamson. Like, this better help get the other baby mama okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean.
You just do a shout out to Zion Williamson.
I mean, he's in a tough situation right now.
Tough situation.
But if he gambled on a game, which he shouldn't do.
He gambled on life right there.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Him and John Morant, insane. That AAU team, I want to see the documentary from that. Crazy.
That'd be a good doc.
That's a good question out there. Well, who would you rather be right now, Zion Williamson or John Morant?
Ooh, Zion. You're not going to get suspended for getting two girls go. Or whatever.
Yeah, you aren't getting suspended. You still got to live with it.
I'd rather be Ja.
I'd rather be John Morant too. Yeah, I would
because that's just like your games are taken away. Your life is screwed up right now. So bad.
The happiness of his gender reveal lasted less than 10 minutes before that other girl ruined everything. There's a lot of explaining to do. John Morant, you just go to therapy and say, I lost my mind for a little bit.
Yeah, and then you get fined and then you're banned for like a year. I'd rather not deal with that.
Oh my God.
That
kid's still around. Yeah. I mean, oh boy.
We can do a whole show on this.
Yeah. This is one of those days though. I'm glad I'm not John Morant or Zion Williamson. How's that?
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
All right. So in our low note section, we talked about quarterbacks that have the most to prove this year. And I'm looking at our list, and we all have different players. So Dave, you go first. You tell me which quarterbacks in this upcoming season you think have the most to prove.
All right. And I want you guys to stop me as I'm saying it if you disagree with what I'm saying. Okay. So here you go. I have
Okay.
The hell's my? Did I lose it? Hold on, I lost it right there.
Gosh, you might as well go. It's gonna take 10 years.
Okay,
Wait,
yeah,
no,
it's
never
gonna
mind.
relax. Do you guys delete my list? You sons of gun. All right, here you go. Go. Here you go. I got my guys right here. Ready? Aaron Rodgers.
Good.
You guys
Disagree.
agree? Okay,
Nope.
tell me why you disagree.
Disagree. I disagree too.
Because
Go
he's
ahead,
already
bro.
he has nothing to prove. He's Aaron Rodgers. What's he
I
going to
just-
show? That he's Aaron Rodgers again? He's been great
He-
for 20 years.
All right, so why do you
What?
think he's going to be great with the Jets? Nobody goes to be with the Jets and is great. Brett Favre
I
wasn't
think-
great with the Jets.
I'm not saying he's going to be great. I'm just saying he has nothing to prove. He's already proven to us. He's a 3-time MVP. He's a 3-time MVP. How much do you have to prove when you're a
How good
3-time
was he
MVP?
last year? He wasn't good last year.
He wasn't good last year.
blamed- Yeah, Aaron
What did he
Rodgers
do the
blames
2
everything
seasons
on everybody
before?
else. Yeah, I got it. He was
What did he
MVP. What have you done from lately? You're now in the number one media market. It's always everyone else's fault. Aaron Rodgers loves to play the poor me card more than anyone else. Now he engineers this deal to go to the Jets after he signed this crazy contract with the Packers that definitely pushed Devontae Adams out of Green Bay. And now Aaron Rodgers is with a different franchise. Packer fans now have neither guy because of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has to show up and be a big-time player for the Jets.
I think it's different than proving something. I think when you say you have to prove something, you're a guy that hasn't done anything in the league or hasn't been consistent. And Aaron Rodgers has been consistent.
I think Aaron Rodgers has to prove he's still Aaron Rodgers. That's just
Okay.
mine. All right, we'll
Well,
move on. Russell
No,
Wilson.
One more
Go ahead.
comment. The other Jets QBs, they all sucked. Wilson, Sanchez, Donald, Favre. It's easy
Geno
to
Smith.
outperform. Geno Smith, easy to outperform all those. I agree with Josh. He has nothing to prove. He's got multiple MVPs in a Super Bowl. Everyone can
Okay.
piss off.
So look,
Right.
he has to definitely make the playoffs. He doesn't have to win the division, but he has to make the playoffs. Do you guys agree with that?
100%. 100%.
Next
Okay.
up, Russell Wilson. Who's Russell Wilson?
I couldn't agree more. He has a lot
Yeah.
to prove, especially what they gave up for him. I think he has the most to prove of any quarterback in the league.
Okay, so you with me on Mario? That Russell Wilson's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one, Tua. Dolphins. Who is Tua? Is Tua
I
a guy that's
disagree.
going to be a guy that shows up that's able to play 17 games or at least 15 games?
Okay, if you're going to say it from that standpoint, then I would agree, but I would disagree when you're talking about what he does on the field. Very rarely does he lose the game for the Dolphins.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think we
being
all
able to-
agree. Yeah, we all
Yeah.
agree he can play. Don't we agree that he can play? But can he stay healthy?
Does that fall into the category of proving something? That you
I
can stay
agree. I
healthy?
think so. The best
I think so.
ability
Okay,
is availability.
Okay,
That's
if you're
the
going to
knock
talk about
on him.
his
He's not
health.
available.
All right, if you're going to talk about his health, then I would agree. But if you're going to talk about his performance, I don't think he has a lot to prove.
The
All
only
right.
thing I'll say, 10 games in 2020, 13 in 2021, 13 in 2022. He's currently in jiu-jitsu to learn how to fall.
Yeah. that's
Dude,
true.
you see how big he is now? He's huge.
Dude, his thighs are the size of my freaking body, dude.
For
Not
real.
his calves.
Dude, he's massive. I'm curious
Yeah.
how much he weighs right now because he's not that tall.
No.
Why did they just send him to stuntman school, teach you how to fall? What's this jiu-jitsu stuff?
Yeah.
You learn a lot.
How to
You
You
get
get
your ass
humbled
kicked?
and you learn a lot.
WWE training.
Yeah.
They do that?
How,
teach
how
you how
about
to
just
roll.
don't play a physical sport anymore if you just learn how to freaking fall so you don't get hurt? You've had hip surgery at 25 years old.
Oh, boy.
All right, next one on here that Mario's going to freak out about. It's Justin Fields. Who's
I
Justin
agree.
Fields? You do.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah,
Let's see what
buck nuts.
Justin Fields is.
Yeah.
Let's see what Justin Fields is at. Again, Justin Fields is a guy obviously picked extremely high. Let's see if he's the franchise or not. I just said the Bears have never had a big time quarterback. Is Justin Fields the first big time quarterback the Bears have ever had?
Agree.
Okay.
Got
And
receivers now. DJ Moore, like the Getty's back, OC, second year OC, new receiver, a whole year with Claypool, even though I think Claypool's dog poop, but it's a big prove it year. Prove it that he can do more than just run the football.
There you go. And my last guy on the list, I have 5 guys. Last guy on the list, it's Mr. Money Shot. It's Deshaun Watson. Is Deshaun Watson the guy on the Texans? Or is it Deshaun Watson, the guy that was on the Browns that could never figure it out? Which one is it?
Yeah. I hope he sucks.
Yeah, that's usually not his move. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, again, I'm not a Deshaun Watson fan. I hope he fails, man. I'm really rooting against him.
Yeah.
He
I
falls
am
under
too.
the category of those guys we just talked about. You know, I'm not rooting for Deshaun Watson. Not only did he go to Clemson, but for what he did, I'm definitely not rooting for him. And I hate the Browns. You know, everybody, I feel bad for the Browns. The Browns and the Lions both suck, but like I actually root for the Lions. I never like the Browns. They're just like annoying to me. The dog pound thing they have going on with the fans. Nothing about the Browns I like. They're annoying.
I'm
All
with
right.
you.
So my list is different. The number
Okay.
one guy I think has to prove it this year is Josh Allen. And you're going to say Josh Allen's already a top quarterback in the league. When push came to shove last season and the season before, Josh Allen was nowhere to be found. I want Josh Allen to prove that he's a top 3-4 quarterback in the league, not choke when it comes to when it matters the most. What do you guys think?
I agree. Josh Allen has a lot to prove. I mean, everyone always puts him as the odds to be the MVP of the league, and Josh Allen this, Josh Allen that. Let's see Josh Allen win. I mean, Josh Allen, how far can you go in the postseason?
I have something similar, and I'll go more into detail about it. But the one thing I'll say, if you are a gambler that talk about gambling, don't be a sucker and bet Josh Allen first couple weeks of the year. Please don't be. Stay away. Stay away.
Second guy I have, and I think he has the most to prove, is Russell Wilson. We just spoke about it. When you give up your entire franchise for one guy, you got to show up. And we said earlier that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have much to prove because he won the MVPs and the Super Bowl. Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl, but a lot of people think he won the Super Bowl because they had a superior defense and they had a great running game. Now it's his show in Denver, and he really hasn't done much. So do you guys agree? Russell Wilson obviously has a lot to prove.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't prove. But yeah, I'm rooting against Russell Wilson.
Yeah, every week. All right, next guy, and it hurts my heart, but I think he really does have a lot to prove, is Mac Jones. I think the Patriots have the worst roster in the league. They did not help him out last year with the defensive coordinator calling his plays, but I do think Mac Jones has a lot to prove, not because of the roster he's with now, because I still don't think it's a good roster compared to last year, but the quarterbacks in his division are going to ball out, so that means he needs to ball out too. You can't be the one guy that puts up average stats when you have Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, and Tua with that crazy Miami offense. So I think Mac Jones actually needs to have a better than average year. He can't continue to be average.
I think Mac Jones sucks. So yeah, I think that's prove it. I think he's dog poop. But Bama.
I'm rooting. It's funny. I'm not a Patriots fan at all. Like, I hope the Patriots lose every single game. I will say this about Mac Jones. I thought he got cheated last year. I mean, there's not another quarterback in the history of the NFL that was put in the circumstance he was in a year ago, where he had no quarterbacks coach, no offensive coordinator. To be so arrogant to say we're going to take a defensive coordinator and make him an offensive coordinator who's never done it before is insane. You know how many more high school coaches were more qualified to do that job than what Mac Jones even had last year? And so for a guy that wasn't an all-pro player to get a guy that's completely stunted his growth, it was embarrassing. So I honestly, whether it was Mac Jones went to Alabama or if it was Trey Lance, it doesn't matter. It's just, here's the young man that didn't get a chance to show he could actually even play in this league because he was handcuffed. I don't know if Mac Jones ever bounces back, but he does have a lot to prove because it will fall on him, because they aren't going to blame the coaching. They're going to blame the guy who obviously has to execute the plays. And there's nobody on that roster that's any good except for Judon, and he's on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. What's the Drew Brees line? Yeah, the Drew Brees line, quarterbacks, they get too much praise and they get too much hate when they lose. So yeah. Mac Jones is definitely in the hate category right now. The next guy you just mentioned, his name is Trey Lance. I think with the 49ers, dude, you gotta be way better than what you – I know he's barely played. You have to be so much better. He played one game at North Dakota during the COVID year. He gets drafted high. Nobody really knows what he is, and he's been in the league for – this will be his third year. Best roster in the NFL, in my opinion, with the 49ers. I think Trey Lance has a ton to prove.
Yeah, I think he does. He's obviously, this is his job year, I think, because they have Brock Purdy there and Sam Darnold, and it's training towards more and more that Brock Purdy is going to be able to start the year. And if he starts that year, that's going to be a tough training camp. It's going to be a battle in that training camp. It's going to be interesting to how the Niners handle it. If you have two QBs, you have none. I don't think QB by committee is a good outlook at all. I think that always leads to something bad. So big prove-it year. Niners risked a lot to get him. God, how many games has he honestly played in since 2020? I mean, I can't be more than 4. Like, dead ass. I don't think it's more than 3 or 4. Like, it's that little that we've seen from him. So he's going to need to put some tape up and at least show a little bit of exposure and a little bit of, there's something there.
He's not even just playing for a starting job. We all know his future's not with San Francisco. He's playing for a job in the NFL. And if whatever it is, whether it's preseason or anything else that he gets snaps at, I mean, he's literally, playing for an NFL job right now. He's in a crazy circumstance where you didn't see it coming the way it worked out for him.
Yep. And then the last person I have on this list is my least favorite quarterback in the league. Are you ready? Kyler Murray with the Arizona Cardinals. Good luck, buddy. I don't know who you're going to be throwing the ball to in Arizona, but I do not like you. I think your team does not like you. You get your coach fired, and you haven't proven anything. Maybe you should have stuck with baseball. I don't think Kyler Murray is going to prove anything this year. I think he's completely overrated. I don't know why he was drafted so high. He wins the Heisman and everybody's on his jock. But Kyler Murray, I think, has a lot to prove, not only on the field, but to his teammates as well, that he's not a punk.
Well, when's he coming back? When's he healthy enough to come back? What do you know what the projection date is?
I don't think he's going to play this year.
Yeah, he might
he's not
end up
gonna play
missing
at
the
all?
whole. He might end up missing the whole season. That's the thing is how bad is this injury and how long does it take him to come back? I mean, that's the issue with. I mean, the Cardinals are in such a strange spot. We talked about this with the Raiders just a couple weeks ago, that the Raiders could sit there and say the Jimmy G thing's not going to work out. Tom Brady says he's not coming out of retirement, and you just suck for Caleb Williams. There's a very good chance the Cardinals can have an option next year, Josh, at this time where we're going, do they keep Kyler Murray and trade out of the number 1 pick because Caleb Williams is there, or do they trade Kyler Murray and say Caleb Williams is our guy? That the Cardinals could be in a crazy situation.
Yeah, so he had his surgery in January. It's a 9 to 12-month recovery. So if it's 9 months, he'll be ready by September. They say he probably won't play until the second half of the year. I just want to see him string together some games where he actually looks like an NFL quarterback. When you watch the Arizona Cardinals, it does not look like an NFL quarterback. It looks like your high school quarterback is playing on an NFL field. That's how small he looks. And like I said, I cannot stand him, dude. I cannot stand Kyler Murray. Maybe it's just the emotions I have for him that I have him on this list. But Kyler Murray to me is completely overrated.
Yeah, when you have a reputation of not being a worker, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear a guy that's making millions of dollars is lazy. Yeah. And that's his reputation. He's not a worker. I mean, it's the old Jamarcus Russell deal, and as I say, Jamarcus Russell, is that too old? Jamarcus Russell drafted in 2007, I think, by the Raiders, or 2008, where they gave him tapes to take home or DVDs to take home to watch. And he came back and says, all right, I watched them. And they gave him blank DVDs to see if he was lying or not. And he was lying. He never threw him in the machine. And so Kyler Murray, when you have that reputation of a guy that has all the ability and getting paid like both those guys, number 1 overall picks that aren't workers, man, it's frustrating not only for ownership, but for the teammates as well. Fan base.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that, Dave. I thought I was going to have a heart attack right there. I had like a weird hiccup in my
Dude, it would have it would have been good for the show.
Would have been good for the show.
Yeah, the comments would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would have been good.
All right, that's my list. You're at Mario.
All right. So I'll rattle off just the first two. Obviously, Tua, I'm right there with you guys. He needs to play. He needs to be available. We all agree that Dolphins team is one of the best rosters in the league, and not to mention it's a win now roster. It's hard to win now when your QB's not on the field. So he needs to play well. He needs to be there. They extend him this year. Like, he's up for a contract year as well. So he's going to be playing on top of his game in a tough division. He's going to be playing best football there is. Now, Josh, you mentioned Josh Allen. This could be one of the biggest years for Josh Allen. Josh Allen went from the AFC, the NFL. It's Mahomes versus Allen, right? Like, that's how it was in 2020, 2021. Like, this is Allen versus Mahomes. Everyone else, you're pushed to the side in the AFC. You got to get through these two guys, right? Well, Mahomes stayed on top of that mountain. He stayed there. He had his campsite. He was making chili. Josh Allen gets kicked off the mountain, and Joe Burrow takes his spot. Now it's Burrow, Mahomes. Now you gotta get through there. Like, now that's the criteria. That's who you gotta get through in order to make it to the Super Bowl. And if I'm Josh Allen, I'm sitting there going, when the hell did I lose my seat? We lost to this seat when the Bengals beat you 27-10 this past year, when the Chiefs beat you in OT in 2021. In 2020, they whooped your butt again, 38-24. And before that, you lost to Deshaun Watson in OT in 2019. It's a big prove-it year. That's obviously a very much win-now team where you have two edge rushers that are on the wrong side of 30. And you have a head coach that needs a lot. You have Diggs, who can get impatient. You have a talented enough receiving core. You got a new tight end who they've been praising all so far that they're going to do something with. Josh Allen, he needs to do something, baby. Like, he doesn't have an MVP with him. He has other accolades, but he needs to have an MVP year, and it needs to be a clear-cut I am the MVP. I am the dog. I'm the alpha dog, baby. Bark, bark.
I
Do you
couldn't
think
agree
Josh
more.
Allen's a fan favorite, NFL fans? Like at some
Yep.
point, I think Josh
Yeah.
Allen was a fan favorite. You think he still is?
I
You don't
think
think
because he's
Josh Allen
quarterback for the
act is
Bills.
old?
People love the
Yeah,
Bills. Teams that hate the
people.
Bills love the Bills. Nobody hates
You know
the
why
Yeah.
Bills.
people don't hate the Bills? Because they aren't afraid of the Bills. Right? The Bills have
Ooh.
always been underachievers. You lose 4 straight Super Bowls. People hate the Patriots for a reason because they have a trophy case full of trophies. The Bills have been that team that people feel sorry for. Josh Allen was a guy that, hey, maybe Josh Allen gives some credibility to the Bills. First of all, Buffalo's a joke of a city, right? It was small city. Nobody wants to live in Buffalo. None of your friends ever say, man, I'd really like to get enough money and move the family to Buffalo. Nobody ever says that.
Fair point. It's fair point.
Right?
Yeah.
It's depressing as hell. Anyone who lives in Buffalo, you feel bad for Buffalo. Everybody likes the fact when the fans jump off and break those plastic tables. God, that's all they got. It seems like fun. Good guys.
Yeah.
Red,
And
white, and
wings.
blue, same colors of the American flag, the whole deal, right? Doesn't matter, you know? So here you go. You look at Buffalo, you look at Josh Allen, and you go, there's no harm there rooting for the Bills or saying if the Bills win, it doesn't hurt you. But at the same time, I think Josh Allen's act is old. Like I'm kind of off for the rooting for Josh Allen deal. Big guy that can do it all, can run, can throw, has a cannon for an arm, all that stuff. I'm done with the Buffalo Bills. I'm tired of Josh Allen. It's just old.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
All right, I got 2 QBs left. One's obvious. We've mentioned ad nauseum. Herbert, title window, contract year. You don't want to be Father Phil, baby. You don't want to be Father Phil, where you can't get it done in the playoffs, where you have a great career, you have these great teams. We don't want to be in that category anymore. You want to be up on the top of the mountain, like I said, with Burrow, Mahomes. You got to get through that this year. This is the year, contract year. Boom, bada bing. He needs a big year. The other one, former AFC West guy. I think it's Derek Carr. He's got a lot to prove. He's got a lot
You
to
know,
prove.
he almost made my list. He almost made my list.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Put on the eyeliner, baby. Let's talk about Derek Carr. He obviously got benched like at the end of the year this past year. Devontae Adams never worked out. He gets sent to the Saints. Dynamic offense. Got a lot of weapons on that offense over there in Saints. Michael Thomas, it looks like, is going to be healthy for the first time since Jesus died. Chris Olave, obviously, is a extremely talented young receiver that's going to be on that team. And then you have Jamal Williams, who's also going to be in that backfield in a division that is going to get beat by most high schools in Texas. Like, this is his time to kind of prove that he is a good QB, that he is worth money. He is a good quarterback. He can play in this league. And that window of his, I guess, prime is shrinking pretty quickly. Big year for him. Going to need to be pretty dynamic.
Go ahead, Josh.
I think Derek Carr isn't very good. I think he falls under the
I don't
same
think it's very good
category as Kyler Murray. I agree with Mario when he says he has a lot to prove, but I just don't think he'll do it. Same with Kyler Murray. I just don't think he's that guy. Good luck. I like the Saints offense. They have a lot of weapons, like you said. Derek Carr, to me, is the most inaccurate quarterback there is. I don't care if Michael Thomas is healthy or not. Good luck getting him the ball, even if it's a slant. Derek Carr is not consistent, and I think that division's so freaking bad. He might be the best one there, but that doesn't say much. I don't think Derek Carr is very good.
Yes, and the Panthers, as we do this show, named Bryce Young starter, which everybody expected today. All right, I love the fact, Mario, that you touched on Justin Herbert, because Justin Herbert, you're absolutely right. The rest of the country, not Charger fans, are going, "Who is this guy? This guy's the guy that leads the NBA in scoring, but the team doesn't make the playoffs. He's that guy, He and it gets old after a while. It almost falls in the same category as Josh Allen. We're like, dude, don't tell me anything else about this guy. I don't want to hear about how great the Charger uniforms are. The guy has wonderful hair. Not a bad guy. Nobody cares, dude. It's time to start making those numbers count. And your numbers are tremendous, but obviously those numbers need to count. Those numbers need to count in the form of wins and deep runs in the playoffs and a run for the Super Bowl. He needs to be what Joe Burrow is for the Bengals, is what he needs to be. And so the fact that you called out one of our own, good for you, because I couldn't agree more. And I think that's the way the rest of the country is looking at Justin Herbert too. Guess what? People don't like good-looking guys, especially good-looking guys that win, or don't win. I mean, it's easy to root for Tom Brady. It's hard to put Tom Brady down when Tom Brady's winning games. Guess what? You start to become a fan. But when you're sitting there, that's all you have. And it's like, hey, look at Pretty Boy over there in LA with the light blue uniform on. He stinks. He can't win. It's all about him. And he's not that way. Anyone who knows Justin Herbert who pays attention to this Charger team knows that he's the ultimate team guy. Maybe too much of a team guy that he doesn't open his mouth enough to complain when things aren't going well and use his voice. And I think that's what, for us who are closer to the team the most, would sit there and say the same thing. Dude, you open your mouth. Be the guy that's a spokesperson for this team and tell the front office when you aren't helping me through trades or the draft or coaching that things need to be a little bit better. You got to get the most out of me. And by getting the most out of me, it's surrounding me by people that know how to do their job. So I'm glad you called out Justin Herbert, because I think the rest of the country, either next year or the year after, is going to be really tired of pretty boy Justin in Los Angeles.
Is he the NBA equivalent of Trae Young?
No.
That's a great call. That's a great call. I say
No.
yes. Why do you say no?
He's not hated. Trae Young's hated.
Well, not yet. Not yet.
No, I don't think so. I think more Luka.
Luka? I was gonna say he's the other guy.
But they've also had playoff runs.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
we're
it's
going
Trae Young. Josh, I think you nailed it. Here's the deal, Mario. Mario, you're big of smart ass of anybody we know. Okay? Midwest guy. If you weren't a Charger fan, dude, you'd hate Justin Herbert.
That is true.
No, because I don't think so.
I agree with Dave. Yep. We know your California hate. Stop.
No,
yeah. Come on.
because he's quiet. If he was a big talker, I think but because he's a quiet, humble guy, I don't think so.
I think you'd hate him. I think you and your friends would goof on him.
All my friends like him. I'll root for him.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll stand by what I said. I just think he'd be the ultimate guy sitting in Indiana with your friends ripping Justin Herbert.
No.
I think you like Justin Herbert because he has the hair like you.
Yeah, that's what
it hurt you when he cut it short a couple years ago, didn't it?
It didn't, because I'm not one of those guys that boys up with long hair. It's my biggest pet peeve. If you see me in public, you try to boy up with me because you have long hair, I'm cutting mine off.
Is it weird? Do you ever walk into a store or a restaurant and someone else has long hair like you and you guys give each other the nod? Like, hey.
They give me the nod. I don't give it back.
Yeah. You don't give it back?
No.
But you know what it's about, right? You know what it's about when they give you the head nod. Like, it's the hair. It's the salad. They're going, yeah.
All right. Let's wrap this up with
Mario's mic just went out. What happened to your mic, Mario?
Oh boy.
You aren't there.
Can't hear a thing.
It's the best show ever. No, you aren't there. You're good.
I got it. I accidentally
pressed
mute. Yeah, my bad.
No, it's all good. Let's wrap it up with a question from YouTube from Thomas Costello. Okay. He says, I made a point a while back that we only have one back-to-back road game, and it's early in weeks 2 and 3 when we should all be healthy. Rest of the season is home, away, etc. Other division teams have 2 and 3 some late season. How much of a factor will this be? The Chargers go home, away. Do you think it's a big factor?
Okay, no, I understand that. Okay, well, hold on. Let me kind of change the question then. Would you rather have the schedule the Chargers have it, where the way he just described it is beneficial to the Chargers, or would you rather have where you get the 3 games on the road, but yet your bye week is pushed back to, let's say, week 10?
Dude, I can't tell you how big of a deal it is to have your bye week in week 10 instead of week 5 or whatever the Chargers have. The Chargers have such a bad bye week. It is ridiculous. If you're on the Chargers, you got to be looking at that like it's a really big deal. I'd rather have the 3 road games week 10 bye week than the week 5 bye week. It is horrible.
Me too. So to answer his question, I will tell you, yeah, it's very beneficial the way the Chargers have the schedule. The bye week kills you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bye week kills you. I think the home away gives you a rhythm to the season. Yeah. Where like you kind of just get used to, like, hey, like, all right. Yeah, like back-to-back home games is great. See the family and everything, but the way the players can get in a rhythm throughout the year, I think is going to be really, really great.
All right, good deal. All right.
I have a is this weird one, guys, and it's like, do you want to say it for Sunday or like it's bad? It's bad.
Say it now. Let's go. Knock it out. You can't tease it like that. Let's go. Now I'm curious.
All right. I had to drive to Chicago to go see a nice apartment. Wasn't very nice, but have no one cooking. So I saw 2. I'm driving back. I'm stuck in traffic, like parked. I got pissed. So I was like, I'm gonna pee in this cup I got. But like the way I had to pee, so I put it in park, but I had to sit up a little bit. So I had to go like that. And as I'm doing that, my windows are tinted, but not that tinted. And like I had both people from the sides just both looking at me as I'm just pissing. And I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of insight here. I don't think they were impressed, if you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of laughs. So I don't think it went a little way. Little
Yeah.
being the big word. So I don't
Was it-
think it didn't go
Was
great,
it-
but yeah.
Was it guys or girls next to you?
One guy and one girl. One girl
Oh,
one
boy.
side. It was a bad look. It was a bad look. And you can't stop what you're going. So it was just like just locking like they didn't like I've never felt more like a loser. This girl was losing it laughing. Like losing it laughing. And I was
Now,
just
she laughed at you while you were doing it?
Yeah, it was a
What?
laugh at. It was a laugh at.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it. That's
Tough.
sad
I don't think
I've
it's
ever
that
heard.
bad. You're never
You
going to
think
see
it's
that
that
girl. No, you're never going to see
Yeah.
either one of
You're
those
never gonna
people
see her
ever
again.
again.
Yeah.
And you know who you will see again? The
But-
next person that gets in your car and says, "Does this smell like piss in here?" Because you pissed yourself. So no,
Yeah.
dude, you made the right decision. Good for you.
Thank you.
All right. As someone who's old, as you guys say, all right, I'm gonna give you some advice in case that situation ever happens again. You got to go Gatorade bottle, dude. Gatorade bottle's the key to always keep in the car. You can't go
Yeah.
cup. You can't go solo
Yeah.
cup, whatever the hell's going on. You got to go because it will run back on you, dude. Everyone has the bucket seats, dude. Your butt is lower than your thighs. That's why you had to stand up while you're doing it.
Yeah.
You got to go Gatorade bottle, dude. It has the bigger hole at top, dude. I'm telling you. That's the key. Every truck driver knows that.
It was I used a shaker bottle. I just bit the bullet and like, I'm about to buy a new one tomorrow.
Okay, good. I was about to say you better throw that stuff
Yeah,
away.
yeah. I threw it away. I threw it away quick. It was funny because I threw it away. My dad goes, "Why'd you throw away a perfect shaker bottle?" I said, "Funny enough, Dad,
Funny enough,
there was piss in that.
could have been worse. Could have been a Yeti. Yeah.
Could have been."
Oh,
I think Yeti got to bite the bullet and just wash it out, disinfect, and say, "Let's run it back."
Man.
You know.
Yeah. No. I don't know. God, that's funny. Oh boy.
God.
Damn.
You
I feel
wouldn't.
bad
You
for
wouldn't.
you.
I would keep the Yeti.
Yeah, but would you let
No.
your friends? There'd be the ones you let your friends use, or one that you'd use. Every time
No,
you drink out of it, you
friends.
think that you urinated in this thing. There's no way that you're drinking out of that thing ever again, ever. You keep wondering, hey, am I tasting piss? I don't care how many times you wash
dude.
it. Yeah,
I think you're
There's no
overthinking.
way.
It's gonna be that bad. Yeah, I
I
about to
heard
give it to my friends.
you're a hell of a guy. You're the best. Good God.
So-
All right, we'll be back doing another show in a couple of days. Man, this is a horrible way to end the show. I should have just said no. Save it for never. Damn it. I had no idea this is the direction we were going. All right. We'll be back in a couple of days. Again, we have there's a topic that we're looking forward to doing, though, as obviously this is the time of the year with the NFL. You'll see them take about 5 weeks off. It gets a little bit quiet, but look, there are guys looking for teams right now. DeAndre Hopkins, Dalvin Cook, big name guys looking for teams. We'll see what happens before training camp gets started, but also we're going to talk about how good this Charger roster is compared to the other teams. Because, again, as Charger fans, we think this is a team that should be making a run for the Super Bowl. Going to the playoffs and losing to the first round of teams like Jacksonville isn't acceptable. So what can the Chargers do to move forward? We're going to look at the Chargers roster, have a pretty good breakdown of how the Chargers compare to the teams that you possibly might face in the postseason coming up. So that's going to do that on the next show. For Josh Pele, Mario Heron, I'm Dave Pele. Thanks again for watching on YouTube, leaving comments, and of course through the Bolt City app, Bolt City podcast. Again, thanks to the people at Odyssey as well. We'll see you next time.